Good morning. Um, so this is episode 2 of CPBs, and today I went on and filmed because my hair looked decent, and today's goal is not to touch my hair and face. So thank you for all of you that watched the first one, and you've actually come back for the second one. And the goal is, imagine my little piece of paper here. Do not touch your face, Valerie, or your hair. All right, so today's is also a little bit different in the sense that I'm going to highlight another CPB, but I'm also going to talk about it in tandem with 2 other companion texts that I'm working on for like a text set with my seniors. Anyway, so the book, the children's picture book that I'm looking at today is Richard Byrne's book. It is called We're in the Wrong Book. And I just acquired this in the past 6 months. It's delightful. Richard Byrne is both the author and the illustrator. But it's got some fabulous things. He also wrote another book titled "This Book Just Ate My Dog," and because I'm a storyteller, I want to tell a real quick story. Last semester, I had one of my students, Jeremy, came in one morning, and it was 2 days before the final children's picture book was due. 3 days away from when our first graders come to our school, and it's the grand culmination of the book. But anyway, so Jeremy Precious comes up to me with this very somber look, and I had him first thing in the morning. He comes up and he kind of doesn't even want to look directly at me, and says, "Miss Person," very quietly, I have a problem. And I'm like, "Okay, Jeremy." And so we're working through, and part of it is to view it as, okay, let's reframe that, and instead of seeing that as a problem, let's see it as a growth opportunity, an opportunity for something unexpected. So anyway, he looks at me and he said, "The dog ate my book." And I thought he was joking, the proverbial, the dog ate my book. And I said, what do you mean? He said, "I was working on it last night and I left it out. I've left it out where I was working and went to bed, and I got up this morning and my dog had gotten hold of it. She had chewed it." And I said, "Okay, how badly did she chew it?" And he said, it's beyond, she really chewed it up, Miss Person." So I looked at him and I said, "Are you telling me the dog really ate your homework, so to speak?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am." So I couldn't help but laugh. It was okay. We got him another one, and he had to really scramble. He had all of his drafting and stuff had done, but basically he was in some ways starting over with the illustration part, and just worked hours and hours in the last bit of time that he had. So there really is a situation where this book just ate my dog, or as Richard Byrne's older book, or the dog truly did eat my homework. I need to get hold of that copy and share it with Jeremy. But anyway, this one of Richard Byrne's is We're in the Wrong Book. And I want to show you some of the features very quickly before I talk about how I use it. And that is the end pages. Look at these, if I can. Well, trying to... It's let me record, but it won't let me turn around. But it's fabulous end pages. That's one of the things that I had added after a few semesters of the CPB. And a lot of the older children's picture books don't have the fancy end pages, but a lot of the ones do. That's one of my favorite parts. I love the messaging that goes on, and this one is great. But anyway, this children's picture book is really about these 2 kids. That Bella and Ben, we got lots of alliteration going on in the book, and they are just, journeying, balancing, or jumping down the street. They're jumping from side to side, and all of a sudden, the dog, Bella's dog, bumps into them and knocks them into another world. And so what they end up realizing is that they are in a different book. And so the rest of the book is, how do they get back to their book, which I think is the perfect metaphor as writers for my students. What happens when we are working on a book? working on a story for any story. It doesn't have to just be for the children's picture book, but any story, and you're going along and all of a sudden you realize that you've detoured from where you thought you were going to start, and how do you get back? If you do need, I guess you have to wonder, number one, do I need to get back, or maybe this new direction is okay, but how do you get back without having to, let's say, revamp the whole thing, and so at least Jeremy had some place to start. He had his story, and he had already drafted a lot of his illustrations. So he had to redo the illustrations, but he didn't have to start his story over. So I love this because of it normalizes that it's okay. Writing takes us on detours, and sometimes those are the right places, and sometimes they're not, and we're trying to get back to where we started. So that is a great message for my students. I'm actually doing it, though, in tandem with an animated short. It was a Pixar short. Actually, it wasn't a Pixar short. It was a short that won the Academy Award for shorts, for animated shorts. This has probably been at least 10 to 12 years ago. It's the Fabulous Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore. And you can find it online on YouTube. You can certainly buy it, the animated short. I love using animated shorts with students of all ages, as not just for the messaging in particular ones, but also for great short text that teaches them close reading skills, because they're short enough to reread, to watch multiple times. And I do a whole thing on movement. There's vertical movement and horizontal movement going on with animated shorts, and maybe I'll do a video about that, because it's a real successful strategy, and students really, really like it. High school students love that opportunity to be a child again, and to look at something that an animated short, and just as with children's picture book, when we're talking about audience, sometimes it's, there's more than one audience being targeted in there, and you can see that. And so this idea in this animated short, one of the big ideas is that books have destinies, and those books that come into our lives, whether in the animated short, Mr. Morris Lesmore, don't you love the pun going on with his name? But he as a reader, and how they impact him and affect his life. But I think you can make the argument it's not just the ones that we read, but the ones that we write as well. The stories that we write and how they impact us. They have a destiny. Stories have a destiny. And so I love thinking about that in terms of this children's book, We're in the Wrong Book. And then I'm tying it together with a lecture that writer Neil Gaiman did. I think it was in 2011. He did the Zena Sutherland lecture. The name of his lecture was What the Very Bad Swear Word is a Children's Book Anyway. And I'm taking excerpts from it. I am aware of everything recently that has been going on with Gaiman, but I'm also one that I believe that good art can stand by itself. So in context, excerpts from this, and my students are aware of some of the problematic allegations with him. But anyway, it's a great piece where he, upon accepting an award, really kind of talked about what is it that is a children's picture book. And I can see that as well, like how he's defining it, what constitutes a children's picture book, and really dives into this idea of audience and the expectations that children bring, and in some cases don't bring, that adult readers often carry with them to a text. And it lines up nicely as well to some of the ideas that Mac Barnett in his new role is promoting about the children's picture books. It's literature. So let's approach it as such, regardless of age, appropriately, age appropriately. But who's to say that we get too old to play and to eat the apples, as my students were pointing out with Shel Silverstein? Are we ever really too old to climb the tree and eat an apple? So, and the answer to that, my friends, is no. So it's about doing it age appropriately, and still playing, taking the time to play. And even when we play and we end up in the wrong book, it's okay. That in itself is a journey, and there's lots of stuff to learn from that. So that's how I'm tying those three pieces together. We will be doing a seminar on the three pieces as we work through them as a synthesis. I love doing Paideia seminars with my students, and I'm excited about that because I think that they will bring a lot of their ideas to the circle. So be blessed and have a great day.